Welcome everyone, Joe with ECRM here at our beauty sessions in Dallas, and with me is Katie Hazlett from NIQ, and we're going to talk about what's next. What are the trends we could expect to see in 2026? So thanks for joining us, and give us an overview of what's going to happen.
Great, thank you for having me. So the beauty category has really seen great growth this past year. Total store has been seeing moderate growth, but beauty has really been such a resilient category as consumers are really prioritizing it, and it's really become a must-have category. We're seeing 11% growth, really strong growth online. So some of the trends that we think that we're going to see globally in 2026 are first up, premiumization versus affordability. So kind of in the past, luxury obviously is still, a huge part of beauty, but really in the past it's kind of seen as, the best in class, kind of like what you would go to. But what we're really seeing is a rise of products that are at more affordable price points, but these affordable products are also really effective, they're high quality, and consumers are really shopping across price points and looking for products that best suit their needs. Consumers are so knowledgeable now about, ingredients and what they're looking for. So they're able to kind of pick out the products that are going to best suit their needs, using the ingredients that they are really looking for. We're also seeing growth in beauty and wellness, especially in the post-COVID world. Wellness has just taken off, and consumers' view of beauty has really expanded to include wellness. They're kind of looking beyond the mirror and looking for beauty from the inside out. So they're kind of including that wellness definition within beauty. So things like vitamins and supplements are seeing really great growth. People are really prioritizing their, mental and, physical health, and really kind of incorporating that into their beauty routines as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that. An example, a friend of mine just opened a new salon spa concept in Queens, and their whole focus is sure, they're doing the skin, they're doing the hair, they're doing the nails, they're doing different beauty treatments, but their real focus is body, mind, spirit. Right? They're going to host a lot of wellness events, and I think people are seeing, and this is interesting because you're starting to merge different categories together, right? Because again, sleep. People are realizing how important sleep is for beauty. So supplements for sleep can be considered a beauty product in that context. Things like oral care, shaving. So things that personal care and beauty are kind of starting to come together. Even food, and they know what's happening, how your gut impacts your skin and things like that. So it's interesting to see how all of these things are merging together, product-wise. And because my friend went at the salon, when she's selling products, she's selling across all those categories. Even though it's like a beauty place, beauty and wellness is really making its way through all the product categories.
Yeah, it's really becoming more kind of one large category versus two separate, as consumers are really seeing it kind of just as the same as one thing, beauty from the inside and out.
Yeah, makes a challenge for the beauty buyer, because like, what are they buying? Because that can expand what they can get.
Yeah, a lot of retailers are even bringing in, those wellness focused categories into their beauty set. So it's definitely changing kind of both how consumers are shopping as well as the retail landscape.
Yeah, even candles, right? A general merchandise product now that, in terms of aromatherapy, and there's just the therapeutic effects of having different scented candles and stuff. It's all part of beauty and wellness now.
Yeah, and scent is so important with beauty. It's been such a driver of growth. That just the fragrance category itself is seeing, in the 20s, really explosive growth, and scent is really kind of merging into other categories. We're seeing growth in like body care, hair fragrance, mists that are for, body, hair, and linen. So we're just seeing just the kind of explosive scent within beauty and personal care.
Speaking of scents or fragrances, the one thing that you mentioned in your presentation is just how well fragrances are doing online. And that surprised me.
Yeah, you would think that's something that you would want to kind of smell first before you buy. It would only be in store, but we're actually seeing out online growth is outpacing that of in store, which is really interesting. I think a lot of that is kind of driven more so by the factors of social media. Fragrance is obviously, beauty is very impacted by social media. Brands and products are going viral, and fragrance is no exception. Despite consumers not being able to maybe smell or really test out their product, they still see these influencers really talking about the smell and the emotions that it elicits, and they're just still really able to kind of capitalize on the viral trends.
That's very interesting, and it just goes to show the importance of social media platforms, but also the role of the influencer and the role that trust plays in selling those products. Because when it comes to other beauty products are visual, so you can get an idea of what it looks like digitally. But fragrance is something you're completely relying on somebody else's opinion online to convince you to buy that one.
Yeah, definitely with this category, it's, influencers have such a big impact. That's another trend that we're seeing is, the rise of, obviously social media is very prevalent within beauty, but influencers, definitely their role, it seems to just keep growing with, consumers' trust and, especially within the wellness category, different wellness influencers. And so we definitely think that social and, that social commerce is going to be growing. TikTok Shop has really taken off in the US. It's already the #6 beauty personal care e-commerce retailer, and it only launched in fall of 2023. So that's a really impressive growth trajectory that we're seeing. So it's definitely helpful for the consumer to they're seeing these viral products, watching the videos, and then just able to seamlessly purchase within the app.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the trajectory that's been on. So what are some of the other categories?
So we're also seeing, we think global trends will continue to just with the just nature again of beauty, it is so trend driven, and with online growing and social media again being so prevalent, we're really seeing a lot of global trends kind of easily migrate. Things like K beauty, for example, it's worth over $2 billion within the U.S. market, and consumers are they're very easily able to see what trending K beauty ingredients are, what brands are trending, and then be able to purchase those on our different online platforms, such as Amazon. Different in-store retailers like Sephora and Ulta are expanding their K-beauty selections. And of course, TikTok Shop is definitely a way to kind of see what are those next viral brands.
Gotcha. And social media plays a big part in that, right? Because seeing global trends, digital is a major component of it.
Yes, definitely. And we're, if we look over the past 5 years and the trajectory of online, we just keep seeing it get closer and closer to 50%. So we think that pretty soon, we might even see 50% of our beauty and personal care sales coming from online, which is really impressive.
Gotcha. And social commerce is another key trend.
Yeah, definitely.
So the use of influencers, and it's interesting. We had a presentation at our session in Germany from the head of TikTok Shop in Germany, and he detailed how they work with influencers, and it was really interesting because the first purchase I ever made on TikTok Shop was just because I opened the app and it was some influencers touting some deal of a product that I already used, but it was just a great deal, and I was like, boom, they made it so easy to buy, and it's scary how easy it is. Once you put your information in, it's very dangerous. It's easy to really overconsume.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like that way about Amazon, just because they already have all your information. You can just so easily purchase things that you see online, and so definitely you can see why Amazon has grown so much within beauty and personal care.
Definitely. So another one you mentioned in your presentation was innovation and innovation acceleration. We've seen some of that here too.
Yes. At ECRM, we definitely have some cool innovations that I was checking out. But yeah, beauty is just such a trend-driven category, and the product life cycles are just getting shorter and shorter. So consumers are demanding these. They want the latest in innovation. So brands definitely need to be able to capitalize on those trends as quickly as possible. We've seen the rise in dupe culture is obviously really big within beauty. Consumers are shopping across price points, really looking for kind of the best products to fit their needs, and what's affordable, what can they try. So definitely innovation is so critical to beauty, especially just to be on top of the latest trends and what's going on.
Gotcha. And now tech plays into that because that's another one of the trends to watch for. And you were just telling me about a product that you saw downstairs that kind of merges tech and beauty.
Yeah, it's a nail kit where you can change your nail color via an app. So I thought that was definitely really cool. Took a picture of that one. So I can check that out later. But yes, tech is definitely growing within beauty. From a consumer perspective, Gen AI is really growing. About most of the, if consumers are using AI, a lot of it's for general questions, but almost a quarter of consumers are using them for product recommendations. So it's very simple to, and I've done this myself. You can kind of just type in your, like I use like my age, where I live. I live in a higher altitude, so a drier climate, things like that. And I was looking for a new moisturizer. Obviously, I work with a lot of beauty brands, but I kind of wanted something that was a bit more of a personalized recommendation. So I tried using that, and I love the product. I've already made a repeat purchase of it, so it's definitely something that consumers are using for those beauty product recommendations, and definitely brands that are able to kind of figure out how to best use Gen AI and reach their consumers. We have obviously SEO is obviously well established, but
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to be able to show up on those Gen AI searches?
Yeah, that's very interesting because it's happening. We're seeing it on the food side too.
Mm-hmm.
People, the same way people are looking, it's like, oh, I need a recipe for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, where can I find these products?
Mm-hmm.
And boom, you got it. So same thing with the beauty side. And I think we can expect to see more and more people, especially younger generations, are just living on ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
on their phones. And, but it's very helpful.
Yeah, definitely very helpful. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So now another one is us guys, right?
Yes, another trend that we were discussing is men's grooming.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely seen a lot of great growth and continues to accelerate
Mm-hmm.
as kind of category norms are redefined. But we've seen a lot of different innovation of brands and products that are more geared towards men. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
kind of changing the dynamics of the category a bit.
Are there any segments in particular? I'm a very simple, and actually, I'm a good example of the simplification trend. Basically, I have very minimal amount of things. One bar of soap that I use for everything, and then I have a shaving cream and one razor. I'm very particular with it, but I keep it to a very minimum. No list of hair care products, things like that. But what segments within the men's grooming are kind of going to boom this year?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, we do definitely see some simplification. Consumers are really strapped for time, and they just feel really overloaded. So we're definitely seeing a kind of return to basics, simplification. But then within men's, we're seeing growth across most categories. Scent is, we've talked about scent within total beauty, but that's definitely also comes to play within men's grooming. We've seen a lot of really great growth in fragrance. And then, or even fragrance merging into different products like whole body deodorant is just deodorant is seeing growth in general, as well as hair removal and hair care. So we're seeing growth across a lot of different men's segments as well.
Whole body deodorant. You're starting to see a lot of commercials for those. And you see it's there's a few different brands that are putting commercials everywhere, but yeah, that is getting a lot more popular. So, and does that play into the simplification thing? Right, it's a whole body deodorant I can use for everything.
Yeah, one product for everything, and I think it also really plays in just again. I feel like all I talk about is scent, but it's just really growing in so many different categories, and I think that's also part of it as well. We're seeing not only just fragrance growing, but scent within like the whole body deodorants, so within body care, using like lotions or body wash, for example. We're really seeing a lot of great growth there, driven by scent. Ingredients as well. Again, consumers are just so knowledgeable these days about ingredients, and they kind of know what to look for. They know what the ingredient is and what it does, and we're really seeing that kind of pop up in other categories, not just in facial skincare. So consumers kind of looking beyond their face for the rest of the whole body. So we're seeing things in body care like hyaluronic acid, retinol, vitamin C. See a lot of great growth. Also, focus on within hair care, we're seeing some great growth in hair care as well. And that's also driven by, I think, the kind of, again, that importance of skincare, seeing your scalp as kind of an extension of that, where healthy scalp can translate to healthy hair.
So I think, based on all of these things that you mentioned, it's interesting seeing how they're all merging together, right? You have like the AI people, the focus on ingredients, and what are they using to learn about these ingredients now? It's AI, or what can I use for this? Like the example you gave with the high altitude, what skincare products I could use. And then you could keep digging and learn about the ingredients and why it works and how it works. And you could go down that rabbit hole as deeply as you want.
Yeah.
And then the end result is all of a sudden you're so knowledgeable about not just the products for those conditions, but also the ingredients in them, what makes them work. Anything that you could possibly want to know about the brand, product, or categories is at your fingertips on your phone.
Definitely, yeah. I think that's kind of also, we think about simplification with, simplification of like your routines, but also just in the products themselves, making it, really easy for the consumer to know, like, what are the benefits of your products, what ingredients are they in? Because, we can definitely be more ingredient forward when we're looking at the packaging because consumers are knowledgeable. I find when I was looking for my lotion, for example, there are, certain ingredients that I was looking for, for, hydration, anti-aging, that kind of stuff. So definitely it's helpful, I think, to be, have simple, clear packaging so consumers can, since again they know what they're looking for, so they can be able to find it easily.
How does Katie do her search on AI when you're looking? Like, what was the first thing that you put in? Like, take us through the journey of your search for that skin.
Sure. So for my lotion that I was looking for, so again, I obviously work within beauty, so I know a lot of brands. I was actually was looking for a I specifically wanted a K beauty brand at
Okay.
that time. I was actually working on our K beauty report last year.
Mm.
It's kind of around the time I was looking for the lotion, so I was, I think I want to try something new within
Okay.
K beauty.
So
So
K Beauty was
yeah,
one
so
of
for some of my
the.
recommendations,
Okay.
I said my age, I said,
Hmm.
where I live,
Okay.
the type of brand that I was looking for, kind of, price point. Didn't want
Hmm.
anything like, too expensive. So kind of those were the factors, as well as things that I was looking for the lotion. I wanted, just,
Hmm.
looking for anti-aging, for hydration. So looking for a couple of ingredients for that.
Hmm.
So I kind of just put those all in, and then it gave me a couple of different recommendations.
Hmm.
And I was able to purchase it.
Wow. So it's just amazing what you can do if you ask the right questions. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yes,
important. Yeah.
definitely being,
Hmm.
you obviously can ask just general questions, but it's kind of interesting how specific you
Hmm.
can get, and, put in all this different information to
Yeah, and I
get
guess
what
you
you're looking
can
for.
just the way it is, you can have a conversation with it
Mm-hmm.
about what you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
and steer it along the way. So now, so these are like the trends to look out for. Are there any particular challenges that we might face next year?
Sure. So obviously, just in general, consumers have been going through a lot. We've got a lot of,
Hmm.
political and economic challenges. So one, I think, benefit to beauty is that we are a bit, it's just, again, has such a strong growth trajectory, and consumers really are prioritizing beauty. So we do see some pullback across, other categories across the store, but beauty really still remains such a strong growth category. Again, we're seeing
Hmm.
11% total growth. But some, just call outs is, while we are seeing that 11% growth,
Hmm.
if you kind of dive down a little deeper into income level, we do see a bit of, some different dynamics there. We're seeing
Hmm.
really strong growth amongst our high income consumers,
Okay.
moderate growth among our mid income, and then our low income is about flat. So just kind of being mindful of, the differences that we're seeing in income levels, and where those low income consumers
Hmm.
may have to make some more mindful decisions about the beauty categories that they're purchasing. They may, shift their channel dynamics to looking for something cheaper, for example, or convenient, like for example, Amazon
Hmm.
is seeing really great growth amongst low-income consumers. So kind of just being, aware of all the challenges that consumers are facing, and kind of where that growth is coming from.
Gotcha. Awesome. So, well, it looks like there's a lot of good stuff that's going to be happening. So, I really appreciate your coming to present, and thank you for joining us again.
All right, thanks for having me.